Welcome to Where's My Money? One man, $1 million of debt, one podcast to find a way out.
Hello, welcome to a very special bonus episode of Where's My Money, brought to you by Uber One. Today we're talking about life's little luxuries, the things that make your day, your week, or your life just a little bit better. Recently I've noticed that the general post-winter blues, general lull about people, even today. The crawl to the end of the year has begun, and that's before the madness of Christmas has kicked in. I just hear more of those long sighs from people at the moment. So I thought I'd share some ways to enjoy the little luxuries in life that can help keep a glimmer in your day, a smile on your face, without breaking the bank. Here's the thing, enjoying these luxuries isn't about being reckless, it's about knowing your non-negotiables so you can start budgeting for the things that make you happy. Because when you plan for them, those spends become guilt-free. Now, of course, I need an expert to back me up here. Let's bring her in. One of my favourite lead characters from the Where's My Money podcast is Katie Wesley from Enable Me. She's back. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, so happy to be back.
We're talking life's little luxuries, and I know you're a big advocate of the non-negotiables when it comes to setting up a budget, whether it's a personal one or a household budget. Why do life's little luxuries matter, both for our happiness and I guess for our goals as well?
I think, honestly, a plan that's based on deprivation with all the will in the world is one that no one will stick to. So I think life is about balance and understanding what's important to you. Embedding that within your plan means that you stick to it longer term. And to make progress, you have to stick to the plan. That's the whole point.
Yeah, hard out. You're so right. If it feels like you're being deprived of something, the chances of you continuing with it long term are just, they'll quickly diminish, right?
Slim to none.
Yeah. It's slim to none, exactly. So you call them the non-negotiables. What do you think is non-negotiable when it comes to budgeting for these luxury things in our lives?
Well, I think you've got to sit down and genuinely understand, like, what is the life I want to lead and what's important to me? And I always ask that question when I meet people initially, and it always surprises me, the breadth of answer that I get, but we always want top 3 non-negotiables, whether that be travel, kids' activities, even like being able to Uber home after a date night out. It's understanding what's important to you, earmarking space for an upper limit, and you're more likely to stick to your plan if you've embedded those fun things which makes you and the life that you want to lead within that plan.
I guess the initial response, though, like I remember when I went to my first Enable Me session and we talked about the non-negotiables, is that it has to come at the cost of something else. So how do we make room for these things in our budget without cutting the essentials out?
Well, I think that you've got to sit down and understand always, firstly, where you're at, because there has to be space at the end to make progress. That might be saving, investing, etc. And you've got to understand you can't have everything. And usually we talk about that fritter piece. That fritter is hiding in there, and it's about finding that fritter within the things that you're spending that is not making you happy, which is generally lurking within kind of groceries, alcohol, etc. We find that and we make sure there's line items within that spending plan for those little luxuries, which will mean that you still feel happy and you still make progress.
And it's probably being realistic about it too, right? Like,
Totally.
I'd love to travel to Italy every year, but realistically, with our current debt levels and our life stage, it's not going to happen. So having those realistic goals around them, right? And kind of going, well, you're not going to do that, but how far down the ladder can we go until it becomes something that's going to bring you value, but you can actually afford at the end of the day while still making progress,
Absolutely.
Which is so important.
Yeah, totally. So you've got to have an upper limit. And I think in setting that upper limit, you have to track where you're at with said spending and know that when you reach that limit, you're done.
Yeah, totally. But that's what's going to keep it guilt-free, right?
Absolutely.
Because you know that it's been budgeted for. You're not creeping outside of the boundaries. You're not like, oh, I shouldn't have done this, because I'm massively guilty of that, feeling guilty after the spend when it's not budgeted for.
Yeah, and everyone is. And I think that in tracking, staying within that budget, you just feel darn good about, yes, I will do that thing. I will go out. I will spend that money. And that feels really good when you're sticking in the parameters of your spending but also knowing that you're still getting that connection, you're still having fun. That is so critical, because part of being better at something, and we're always talking about being better with money, you want to be living your best version of a life. And everyone's got that different best version of a life. It's understanding, well, what is yours, and making sure that you're living a life that aligns to that. I think that is just so important.
Combining your Uber and Uber Eats is a lot easier than combining loans. Just sign up for Uber One and they'll pay you $10 of Uber cash a month. For just $9.99 a month, you'll get $0 delivery fee on eligible orders, 5% Uber credit on all rides, and access to Uber One exclusives, like special promos on Uber and Uber Eats, plus exclusive offers and experiences from other Uber partners. And you'll get $10 Uber cash back every month until the end of the year. Ends December 31st. T's and C's, minimum spend, and fees apply. It sounds almost a bit woo-woo and you know, just corny, but it's so true, like giving yourself permission to spend that money on that thing that brings you joy. Because what's the point in all of it? If you can't enjoy your day-to-day life, what is the point in it?
Yeah, and I suppose the counter-argument of doing this is like, oh, I could be hit by a bus tomorrow. I'm just going to do whatever the heck I like, which I get. Future's promised to no one, but very likely you're not going to be hit by a bus tomorrow. So how do you...
Touch wood.
Yeah. I've got a desk that's wood. It's finding that balance, do you know, of living a happy life, but also making progress. And I think balance is about making sure that you can spend money on the things that are important to you.
Yeah, 100%. What's something actionable anyone listening to this pod can do today to start on that little journey into making sure their life's little luxuries are being looked after?
Yeah, do you know what I would do? I would just find some quiet space and sit down and think about, well, what are my top 3 non-negotiables? Figure out how much you would like to be spending on it to set that upper limit, whether it might be $50 a month or, you know, X amount for travel, and then go back for the last couple of months, see how much you were spending on it, and then figuring out, well, how can I create some systems in place to make sure that that's within my spending, and I'm also keeping an eye on it going forward. So tracking, and we're a big advocate for tracking, whether that be pen and paper, but also great apps out there like MoneyFit.
What's one of your non-negotiables? What's the luxury that you just cannot live without, that you've got to just, treat yourself with?
Coffee. I'm a better mum. I'm a better person when I have my coffee. Yeah, it's coffee.
See, and that's the thing they tell us not to buy. Too many cups of coffee, and you're not going to be able to afford your house. Too many avos on toast. You're out of the property market.
I call BS. It's about making sure that you have balance, understand what's important to you, and make progress. I'm still making progress, but I am loving my first cup of coffee. I really do.
Thank you so much, Katie. It's always a pleasure having you on the pod.
Thanks so much.
Now that Katie's given us the why, I'm going to hit you with my top 5 ways to be financially smart so you can enjoy your little luxuries even more. Number 5, subscriptions. Spotify, Apple Music, Netflix, Amazon, whatever. All these things add up. And people are going to tell you to cut the subscriptions altogether. But there is another way. And it's not illegal. If you can use a family account. Everyone in your household gets access and your per-person cost drops dramatically. Suddenly, streaming isn't just affordable, it's smart. Number 4, going out or eating yum stuff is a pretty common non-negotiable, and it's absolutely one of mine. But cabs and takeaways can start to cost a bit if you're using them. A bit, but they don't have to. You might roll your eyes at spending a little bit more for it, but hear me out. With an Uber One subscription, the delivery fees are lower or sometimes zero. Rides can be cheaper. You get access to better promos. And that convenience, it's a little luxury that actually saves you time and stress. And for some of us, that's priceless. Number 3, sit down, grab a drink. Let's talk drinks. Beers, wine, cocktails, whatever your thing is, buying a few to have at home rather than hitting the bar is going to equal big savings. You'll still get the same enjoyment, but your wallet doesn't get hammered at the end of the night. It's really easy to convince yourself that the chili marg is worth $27, but do the math. Buy the ingredients and make them at home. It's way cheaper and it's fun. And you won't have that guilt of whose round is it and can I afford another round of 6 Jager bombs? Number 2, here's a tip I actually love. Set up a small fund just for special events, birthdays, date nights, anniversary, that dinner you've been wanting to have at that trendy new restaurant down the road. Knowing the money's there makes these moments feel like treats, not financial stress. My number 1, though, finally, my favorite, a tip that makes you feel like you're totally winning because you are. You might not consider this a treat, but I love a little shopping splurge at the big hardware shops. If you do too, shop smart and price match. Do your research online before you buy anything. And even if you're standing in the aisle with the thing in your hand, price matching at Bunnings and Mitre 10 is so good. Not only do they match the advertised prices on the same products, but they will beat them. And this isn't just hardware stores. A lot of other places do it too. All you need to find is one store that's got a product cheaper than the other. Prove it to them and you win. A little comparison will go a long way. And then it turns into a game. It's legitimately fun. I can't tell you how good the little adrenaline kick feels when you get a price match across the line. Take that, the man. That's a wrap on Life's Little Luxuries. Remember, when you budget for the things that matter to you, every treat becomes guilt-free. Big thanks to Uber One for making life a little easier and a little more convenient, and for sponsoring this episode. Follow us for more ways to get ahead with your money and keep enjoying the little things that make life better, so you're not left asking, where is my money?